resolve the faulty thinking patterns that Satan has built in our life the whole time, the closer we're contacted with the head of all things, Jesus Christ. Isn't that what Paul wrote the whole book of the letter to Colossians was about? Was to get rid of the worship of angels, be connected to the head?
Amen.
It's the time for that. No one has seen the Father except the one who is from God. Only He has seen the Father. I tell you, he who believes has everlasting life. So, I didn't go there. You can mark down your notes, Matthew 11, verse 25 and 27. No man has seen the Father except Jesus, and those Jesus introduces to the Father. That's a heavy verse right there. Because people talk about God the Father all the time. But then their lives reveal that they don't even really know Jesus. So how can they know the Father? Because you can't know the Father except Jesus introduces you to Him. Well, if you haven't been introduced to Jesus, yeah, you can't get there from here. So our whole purpose is to get you introduced to the living Jesus so you can know Him on a first. After that, it's out of my hands. And isn't that lovely? Isn't that wonderful? It will be in Jesus' hands where it belongs. And you know what? I would bet everything I own that after that, the people issues won't be so important. I would bet everything that the little doctrinal controversies won't be so important after that. Because once you're tied to Christ, who is the head, all of that stuff fades away. It doesn't matter. Because you see, when He comes back, He's going to solve that stuff. You don't got to figure out a calendar. When Jesus comes back, He's just going to go, this, and this. We're all going to go, oh, amen. Why didn't you just say so? And all of these little doctrinal problems. Well, this is the way you pronounce the name. It's not going to be an issue or a mystery or a problem or a divisive. Because you see, in Him, all things come together.
Amen.
All things come together once you're tied to the head. Nothing else matters after that. That's why the worship is the most important thing that will ever go on in here. But then it's only important if us, the individuals, make it important. I heard Perry Stone one time, I don't want to burn up all my time, was talking about the Pentecostals saying, if God shows up today, if God shows up today. And Perry said, I got news for you guys. I said, I'm carrying Him in my heart. He's coming to church today if I go. Right? If you want to have God show up at church, it's up to you to let Him out. He's in your heart. Is it a prison or a home? Is it a prison, a dungeon, or a throne? Because you see, you're the one that lets Him out and do what He wants. Or you're the one that keeps Him bottled up inside. No, you can't get out of there. Who wants to lord it over the Lord? Let's let Him come out and be in charge. We'll have a lot better time in church. You'll get better answers. You'll come away with more encouragement. And it won't matter whether we flubbed the message up or we're brilliant with it. It won't matter. Because you see, what you got will have been fresh manna from heaven. Oh, come on, somebody. Let's close it out in Revelation chapter 3. For those of you on recorded media, we're going to read the letter to the Philadelphians. And since the tape will be off, I can't help you after that. That's what we're going to do. Verse 7, to the angel of the church in Philadelphia, city of brotherly love. This is to be contrasted with the church of Laodicea, which is the church of I love myself. This is the church of I love God and the brothers. This is the church who keeps the laws and the commandments, because the Laodicean church can't make themselves do it. See, they're lukewarm. They don't want to do it. Yeah, maybe a little here or there. Just enough to look good in front of the folks. See, we can't be those people. We got to be people who love God with all our heart and all our mind and all our strength. Because they're the ones that make the rescue. How do you love Him? When you get on your face in the worship and pour out your soul to God. You can't pour out your soul to God and not be rewarded. You know, look, we want our friends and our family members to sit in God's seat. Oh, I want you to listen to me. Let's face it, there ain't a human being on this earth can really listen to you. Their brain doesn't stop when you start talking. We're something of them they can't do. That don't mean your friends don't love you. That doesn't mean they're not trying to listen to what you're saying, but they can't understand the depth of your heart. They're not feeling the feeling. They're only hearing about half, maybe a third of your words. And we're expecting them to be God when we need to go to God and pour out our soul and just enjoy our friends and family. Oh, come on.
Amen.
The angel of Philadelphia. These are the words of him who is holy and true, who holds the key of David. Now, a lot of controversy about the key of David. A lot of controversy about the key of David. Let me clear it up for you. I know my ex-worldwide buddy's going to hate me for this. The key of David is not the one that he gave Mr. Armstrong about David sitting on the throne. That's important, but that's not what this is. The key of David is David was a man after God's own heart.
Yeah.
Because David worshipped him. David worshipped him. David's fallen tent that is to be rebuilt in Acts chapter 15 is the worship and the praise of the saints in the end times. It's not knowing who's on the throne. That's important, but that's a different whole subject. This key of David right here is how to access Jesus Christ because of your worship. The key of David has everything to do with 1 Samuel chapter 6 and the restoring of the Ark of the Covenant, because David said, my God has to be near me. Wholly different thing. What he opens, no one can shut, and what he shuts, no one can open. Now, very early in this room, we had a Monday morning prayer meeting, and I saw this door in front of my face. This door right here, in front of my face. I was underneath, on the floor underneath the thing, wrapped in my tallit. I saw that door. And I saw the Lord walk up and kick the door. Not open, completely through the hole and off into nowhere, gone. I have opened the door for this work, and it will never be. The door's gone. What door? How do you shut a door that don't exist? Boom, gone. What he shuts, nobody can open. And what he opens, nobody can shut. The only thing that can stop this ministry is we quit doing it. And it's been that way from the get-go. So people come and people go. Some people try to kill it when they go, or whatever. It doesn't make any difference. It just is irrelevant. As long as we keep showing up to pour out our soul to God Almighty in here, this can't be killed. So even if it's only one person, and I've made that boast before, even if it's only one person to come in this room and pour out their soul to God, this thing is alive. Because it's based on worshiping the true and living Jesus. It's based on making that personal human contact that He has made. This whole Bible is a story of God contacting human beings. Don't tell me it's not true. Don't tell me He doesn't do it. He has done nothing but leave us a record of contact after contact after contact after contact. And they were people just like us who sinned. And it records their sins just so you can know. It wasn't to make them look bad, by the way. Just so you know they're people like us and they have their problems and issues and hang-ups, just like we got our problems and issues and hang-ups. The key thing ain't the problems and issues and the hang-ups. The key thing is our willingness to come in here and worship Him with our heart and our soul and our strength and our mind. Because that's the key of David. That's the key to everything that follows in this letter. Now, he goes on, I know your deeds. Okay? In the Old King James it says works, and they mean the same thing. Works of the law. It means I know you're keeping my laws and my commandments. He does not say that about Laodicea, and not every letter to every church in here says, I know your law, I know your deeds because you're keeping my laws and commandments. We have to be the people to keep the laws and commandments because that is the foundation upon which to let the holy fire burn. It is the life upon which when you pour out your soul to God, you get the desired result. I will make those, I know that you have little strength. Okay, have we ever had much strength? Have we ever had a lot of strength in here? No, we've never had any strength in here. Always scuffling to keep our events open. Yet you have kept my word. That's the whole thing, Genesis to Maps. We've kept the word and not denied His name. Okay? So people want to make a federal case out of His name. That's not what it means. Doesn't mean that you know the sacred name of God and can pronounce it with the proper pronunciation. What it means is you've upheld His reputation by the standard of your life. That's what that means. You love His name and have not denied it. So you've held on to the standard so that His name is glorified among the Gentiles. Meaning those who are lost and without a covenant. Not meaning nations that aren't from Israel. I will make those who are the synagogue of Satan, who claim to be Jews, though they are not, but are liars. I'll make them come and fall down at your feet and acknowledge that I've loved you. And I've heard of 100 different ways to look at that verse that are so ridiculous they make me cringe. Who's the synagogue of Satan? It's obviously not the Jewish brothers upstairs that mean the sanctuary. I've been up there. Who is it? It's people that say that they are believers and go out and live wicked, sinful lives. So I freak out when people got zeets on their belt hoops and I'm watching them work on Sabbath. Or they got zeets on their belt hoops and they eat something unclean. Or they're walking around acting like they're somebody when they're not living up to it. And I can't tell you how many times I've seen that. I fear for those people because He says they're liars. And guess what? That's what we find out all the time, right? The brothers who've come in here and raised the most Cain about not eating out on the Sabbath are the ones who I have caught at work more times than I can count. One of them told me, well, it's okay for me to work because I'm a counselor there. So a year and a half later, we run into somebody from his place of employment and we ask, oh, did you know so-and-so? He goes, oh, yeah, we know, work there all the time. Oh, what did they do there, by the way? Oh, he was the IT guy. Oh, he wasn't a counselor? Oh, no, he worked on the computers. No, we never let him counsel. Really? Isn't that special? Don't even know on Sabbath, but he's doing IT work on Sabbath. Huh. Well, isn't that special? That's just one example of hundreds that have come in here and made a federal case out of some minor point, and then they're out breaking the major points, and that's what Jesus is saying. You're claiming to be the righteous people of God, but you're not living it, and therefore you're a liar. Because you said you're something you're not. The man who was justified before God, in Jesus' example, was the sinner who beat his breast and said, Lord, have mercy on me, I'm a sinner. It was the Pharisee that was claiming to be the righteous man of God, but wasn't. He was the stinker. We can't claim to be righteous when we're stinkers. We just come in and beat our breasts and say, God, I'm a stinker. And He'll have mercy on you. It's when you're trying to hide it from Him and everybody else that He doesn't have.
Come on.
Look, we're in the last days. This is no time to be playing games. I mean, of all times to be right with God, we live it in the last days when everybody needs to get really right with God, because you know what? That shofar going to blow one day. And you definitely want to hear shofar. You don't want to hear thunder, and you don't want to hear, oh, a truck drove by and look around, everybody's gone. Yeah. You want to hear the shofar so you can hear the call and go with it. Come on.
Yeah.
Since you have kept my commandment to endure patiently. Come on, y'all. I told you the whole thing. I've been saying it since we started this in 2003. I said we have to stay in this. We have to endure patiently, because the Lord said we can't lose unless we walk away. So we got to stay in this, because enduring patiently by refusing to give up. Come on, enduring patiently by refusing to give up. And there's a million reasons to give up. You just got to know where they're coming from. They're not coming from Him. They're coming from the devil. Or as Jeremy says, the ugly one. The ugly one's the one telling us to give up. Jesus is the one saying, don't quit. Right? Look what happens. Are you ready? Since you kept my command to endure patiently, I will also keep you from the hour of trial that's going to come upon the whole world and test those who live here. Come on, that's a heavy promise. If you don't walk away, you're going into rescue. Come on. If you don't walk away, you're going into rescue. If you don't walk away, you're going into rescue. Come on now, that's as good as it gets. I don't know what else I can read to you to give you more hope and encouragement to go to Passover and expect the encounter of a lifetime. I'm coming soon. Okay, this was written when? Prior to 96, roughly, AD? You think it's sooner? This is written in 96 AD. In 2015, do you think it's sooner? I mean, come on. You ever wonder all the saints that had to go through all that, wondering and wondering and wondering, so that just maybe you could figure out that, hey, it's here? Because it's been 2,000 years, it's here. It's been 1900 and what odd years. It's here. He's coming soon. I could have talked all day about Russia and China preparing for Armageddon with the EU. I mean, they're getting ready. I could have talked all day about the king of the South and the war going on between ISIS and Iran to gain the dominance to be the king of the South to challenge the European Union. You realize ISIS is talking about going and burning Rome, right? And you've been watching that? They're not talking about anything. They're talking about burning Rome. Isn't that in Revelation 18? I'm going to burn Rome with fire. Come out of her, my people. You're watching all this happen on Fox News right in front of your very eyes. You think it's soon? You think maybe it's soon? You think maybe that there's less time in front of you than you have behind you? See, it's easy to overlook it. It's easy because we're surrounded by so many details and so much is going on, and it's just kind of overwhelming. The prophetic stuff is intense. And if you understand the prophecies, it's even more intense. Come on. We talk about it all the time. Why? Because this is the biggest stuff going on. Amen? I'm coming soon. Hold on to what you have. What do you have? Your deeds in the holiness in the Bible. You got praying in the Spirit. You got the gifts. Some people have had the gifts of healing. Some have had the gifts of prophecy. Some have had the gifts of administration. I mean, we've had gifts demonstrated in here. Come on now. Hold on to what you have. These are good things. So that no one takes your crown. What does that mean? You give up. You get discouraged. You give up. You walk away. God has to send somebody else through that door to do your job that you walked away from because you couldn't hold on to it. Oh, that's heavy. How many people have gave up and walked away from here? They all had jobs to do. I could run down the list for you. I could probably give you 3 levels of stuff that everybody that left has had something to do that I needed done, that the body needed done, the work needed done, that would have made it better and happier and stronger. God showed me His math is addition and multiplication. It is never division and subtraction.
Come on. Amen.
A person comes to Hungry Hearts, called of God to be here and do this, which is pretty stout, because this is a pretty heavy thing to do. God's math, we love math, right? Come on guys, you love it now. You're at school, you love math. People in school hate math, but you love math. God's math says this. Frida times everybody she knows, plus Doug times everybody he knows, plus Kelly Bonner times everybody she knows, plus Jeremy Bonner times everybody he knows, plus Lenise times everybody she knows. Are y'all getting this?
Come on.
Everybody we know.
Times everybody you know.
Yeah.
Okay, for each of those who were added, it's times everybody they know. Y'all will get that in a minute. Satan comes in to subtract people and divide by everybody they know.
Yeah, come on.
God's trying to build this thing. It's never His will that anybody leaves and goes away from Him.
That's right.
It's their free will that they...
Come on.
All right. Your crown. Don't give anybody your crown by walking away from it. Just envision that your work to do for the body of Christ times everybody you know is your crown. Just visualize it. Maybe a cardboard or something and spray paint it gold so you can just look at it. That's my crown. I'm not going to walk away and let my crown. Because if I walk away, God's going to give it to somebody else. He just said that right in the Word. Because He's going to bring somebody else in to do your job.
Come on.
And when they do your job, since you walked away, I want to get that in a minute.
Come on.
He who overcomes, I will make a pillar in the temple of my God. A pillar in the temple. Not outside the temple, in the temple. Not the ones outside in the courtyard, in the porch. I'm talking about inside the temple. And it says, never again will he have to leave it. Oh, come on, that's a worshiper's reward. That's not a reward for anybody else, because some people don't like to worship but hate being stuck in the temple all the time. So what are you doing? You trap me in here. It's a prison. No, not for those of us that really be loving God. It ain't no prison. I've had people on the Day of Atonement tell me, when you go unlock the door, let me out of here. I said, the door ain't locked from the inside. It's locked from the outside. We ain't trying to keep you in. We don't want nobody interrupting the worship by coming in. See, a worshiper wants to go in the temple because Jesus will be sitting on the mercy seat, and they don't want to leave it because they want to be with Him, and they want to be loving Him and be intimate with Him, and don't want to have to go out and do nothing else.
Amen.
That's why you're working in the vineyard now, because your work will be over, except when you want to go do something, because you're going to be able to go in there and worship until you're sick of it. But none of us will ever get sick of it, because we're going to be worshiping all the time. So we're going to get to worship until we just can't get enough. Don't you know worship makes you hungrier for Jesus, not less? The more of Him that you get makes you less satisfied. Oh, come on, somebody. Once you start worshiping, you got to have more. You don't want less of it, you want more of it. So you worship for 5 hours and you'll be wishing you had 10 hours. And when you get 10 hours, you'll want 3 days. And when you get 3 days, you ain't going to want to walk out.
Come on.
And I will write on that person the name of my God. That's the Father. Amen. And I will write on him my new name. Why? Because you're a bride. The bride takes on the husband's name. So you get the name of God, the family name, and then you get the personal name of Jesus on top of it. So you'll be Mrs. Yeshua Almighty. To him who has an ear, let him hear what the Spirit says to the churches.